Welcome back to the Following Your Gut podcast, where health science meets clinical wisdom. As always, I'm your host, Roland, and actually today I am on location in Las Vegas, and I'm here for a multitude of reasons, but first and foremost, I'm here talking to some incredibly high-level fitness professionals, and I had to get my good friend Justin Dees on because as modest as he is, Justin is not only a world-class personal trainer, strength coach, exercise physiologist, and more. He's a teacher, and he explains things in such incredible ways that everyone can understand all the complexities about everything in his world of performance and fitness. And like me, he loves the intersection between health and performance. So Justin, absolute pleasure to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, my man. Always love chatting with you.
It's going to be fun. I never know what we're going to talk about, but we always have a good conversation at the end of it.
Absolutely.
I usually start podcasts with asking people a little bit of their backstory, just to give people a little bit of a primer. So, I mean, maybe you can give us a little bit of your history. What got you here?
Yeah, honestly, what got me, I've been in the industry for 30 years. Legit, that's the industry I've worked in for 30 years. So I've seen so much come and go. I've seen so many fads and all that. But what actually got me into fitness and health was, it happened to me at a very young age. My grandfather, who was more like my father to me, was a very successful, powerful attorney, unbelievable, like, public speaker, and was my favorite human. But he didn't exercise, had a terrible diet, became, overweight, obese, developed diabetes, and died at the age of 63, which, in our day, that's very young. Mm-hmm. But I watched this very powerful, charismatic man dwindle into complete illness, toes amputated, then feet amputated, then legs amputated at the knee, and wow. Down to nothing in a wheelchair. And I was in the hospital with him his last days, and he died. And I was 13, and so I just thought, in my mind at that time, I was like, this is so unnecessary. He didn't have to die this way. It was his lifestyle. And I just promised myself I would be committed to being healthy and fit my whole life. And, I was always in sports really young, since 7. But yeah, when, and then I traditional sports got old to me, and I got burnt out, and I started skateboarding. I was very into skateboarding, and I shattered my ankle, and I had nothing to do. I was bored. I was on crutches, and I signed up at a powerhouse gym in Tucson, Arizona. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I had weightlifting in school and stuff, but I started going to this gym and working out, and I just started responding, and it helped my recovery with my ankle. And yeah, and I found this world of bodybuilding that was so fascinating. I remember seeing bodybuilding magazines when I was younger, and I was fascinated by how they could do that, but with their bodies, build them to that level, like a He-Man, cartoon at the time. And so I was really fascinated with it. And once I learned that you could study exercise physiology in school, I hated school. So all of a sudden I was like, no way, I want to go to college for this. And so I went to the number one institute. Arizona State at the time was the number one exercise phys program. So my goal was to get accepted there. I went and did that. And then, I just loved every minute of it. And that opened doors for me to working with the National Academy of Sports Medicine in their department with, all kinds of pro athletes, pro teams, Olympic athletes. And I learned that the sports performance side, but my passion was always the fitness bodybuilding side as well. And I had some amazing mentors. I worked for another company called Apex Fitness, was the nutritional component, the mother company to the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Mm-hmm. So I learned nutrition, proper nutrition, because unfortunately in dietetics back at the time, hopefully they've advanced some, but dietitians were telling people, well, don't take supplements and things like that, and you can get all your nutrition from food, but you can't. We don't move enough. And so there was this dilemma. People were fat, but they're not getting enough nutrients. And so I was learning all these solutions to fitness, and I just knew I wanted to do this forever. I wanted to help people not experience what I experienced, and I wanted people like my grandfather to never die that way. And so, and for me, bodybuilding was a great outlet. Competitive bodybuilding was something very exciting to me that I participated in. But so yeah, and I've done it ever since, and I would do it for free, because I love helping people become better, and obviously that's how we met.
It is.
And so you love that too, and here we are, right, working together now to help people be as healthy as possible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's the intersection point between sports and health. I find that to be a very interesting space. What I mean by that is usually someone's on the side of athletics. There's sports performance nutritionist, trainer, a sports medicine doctor, or you have people on the other side. They're either an MD, an ND, a DO, or some sort of natural health practitioner. Not many people come together and do them, and I think that's a disservice, because if you look at social media or things that are popular, never before today has anyone been so captivated by wanting to be an athlete in the gym training. Like, everyone wants to be muscular, everyone wants to be low body fat, everyone wants to look and feel healthier, but in the pursuit of these things, I think people compromise a lot along the way. Would you say that's fair?
Absolutely. I think the biggest problem right now with our world of fitness, sports performance, at any level, right? Whether it's personal, competitive, whatever it be, professional, in sports in general and fitness in general, is I see two problems. I see one, there's way too much information that people can't disseminate and figure out. Like the normal person doesn't have time to do that, and so they don't know what's true, what's not true, what's a half truth, what study is accurate, what's not. Everyone's quoting studies, and some of them are even made up. There's so many podcasts with information that's just garbage. And then you also have a lot of really brilliant people, but they're like, everyone's on their own island waving their own flag. Like, hey, me, I know everything, right? And it's like you said, if all these people would come together and drop the ego, right? And be like, let's apply all the stuff that we all are really smart in and create an approach that targets everything. I think the world would be much better. The industry would be better. But there's all this, like, right now there's a lot of people doing content wanting to grow their thing, and I don't see a ton of people out there reaching out and having an open mind and being like, there's got to be, I don't know everything, right? So let's figure out everything we can of every aspect of how to make the body healthier. And I love that, because I know that's what you and I are doing.
It starts somewhere, right?
Yeah.
The butterfly effect is a thing.
Yeah.
Where do you see people who are wanting to pursue fitness go wrong with their health? What do you see from an observational perspective, and what do you think conceptually people miss? We love cars, so I'll use that analogy, but everybody wants to put racing fuel and turbos on a piece of shit car. And it's like, the foundation is missing, right? They want to take all the supplements. They see TikTok. They want to take anabolic steroids. They want to do all this stuff. Even there's a kid on there I heard about yesterday. He's some 19-year-old kid, and he's already taking trenbolone and testosterone and all this stuff. And he's influencing other young kids that should not be doing any of that, right? So they want to take all the fancy schmancy stuff, all the high octane fuel and all this stuff, when they've never focused on the foundational health components of their body. And they take nothing for that. They don't know anything about that. Like we talked about yesterday, digestion, right? Everything.
Sleep, cardiorespiratory health, all your metabolic markers, all your blood work, right? All these things. How is the foundational health going? Because once that's working, by the way, if that's not working, none of the fancy stuff you put in your body is going to work either, right? So that's my analogy. Is people are trying to like put F1 engines on Honda Civics.
Yeah, your minivan needs 700 horsepower.
Yeah, and it blows up.
Exactly, and they wonder why.
Yeah, and then
to keep the analogy going, it's after the fact, everyone wonders why.
Yeah, they start having health problems.
Yeah,
and it's like, so you have to. The foundational components of health have to be their biggest focus, and their nutrition, right? Their recovery, their sleep, their hydration, all those things. That they just want to take stuff though. They just want to take all the performance enhancing stuff, whether it be supplements or peptides or anabolics, and they get their information from TikTok.
And it's amazing how few realize the points of connection in the human body. For example, if you are someone who's aspiring to build muscle, you are likely eating more food volume and calories than the average person, because that stands to reason that to build some muscle, you probably need some more energy. No one thinks, or I should say it this way, we assume that everything you eat gets properly broken down, digested, absorbed, and assimilated.
Right.
No one's thinking, maybe I'm stressing my pancreas and my gut out by eating 8,000 calories a day. Maybe if I'm eating nothing but cooked foods with nothing raw, I'm not getting an adequate amount of enzymes from the, you know what I mean? Like these things that people don't think about. Why is that missing in the sports nutrition world? Because to me, in health, it's so obvious. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah. Like I said, it's two reasons, but you're right. Like, it's because they're told you have to eat 6 meals a day, or 7 or 8 or whatever, right? No one says, oh, hey, did you know that when you eat food, because they all know about insulin, right? They're like, oh yeah, my pancreas secretes insulin. It's like, it also secretes your digestive enzymes. One of the common, because it's not a common thing, but in bodybuilding, it's a lot more common, is pancreatitis.
Which is scary.
Figure. Yeah,
pancreatitis
it's extremely painful and dangerous, and you're hospitalized.
Yeah.
And it's a high risk thing, a big problem, right? But so, just to tell you, no one's like, hey, did you know? They don't know foundational biology and physiology. They just don't. And it's like, if they did, you would be like, okay, if I'm going to be eating this many times a day, how can I give my pancreas some help? How can I optimize? Oh, what about digestion? Proper digestive enzymes. How's your hydrochloric acid levels, right? Because most people are backwards. They think if you get heartburn, you have too much stomach acid, so they take stuff to decrease stomach acid, but they don't understand that your stomach acid levels are what close off the sphincter that prevents acid from going up into your esophagus. So the higher your HCl, the better that closes off and digests your food. And so my point is, it's foundational knowledge of physiology and biology, and people don't have that, and they're not taught that. You got coaches that are teaching about drugs and protocols of training and eat this many calories and macros, but they're not teaching the foundational components of it, and they don't really understand how the body works.
No, they don't.
So they're overstressing everything.
Yeah, and they're under recovering.
Yeah, they're trying to run a race with no pit crew.
Fair. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
And then the person pulls in and is like, I got no gas. My tire. Why? Where are the people? Where's the support?
Yeah. The car's on fire or whatever, you know.
And I mean, you know, I say this in a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek ha-ha way, but I mean, I've been in gyms in and out my whole life. I've never been a bodybuilder, but an athlete.
Yeah.
I've smelt evidence of digestive dysfunction, and I don't think there's an industry that is the poster child for needing some probiotics or some digestive cleansing protocols. These people are also contributing to dysbiosis, gut inflammation, leaky gut, and you'll probably know this, but one thing we talk about a lot is when you have leaky gut, that's an entry point of things that are meant to leave your body into general circulation.
Correct.
And they can go many places. People don't think about the fact that microbes can translocate to the heart, to the lungs, to different organs and tissues, and cause immune stress and immune activation. And I think bodybuilding, we're just talking with some powerlift, like literally world record holder power lifters.
Yes, best in the world.
Yeah, and he's talking about cardiovascular fitness and various things because he knows what he's put his heart through.
Correct.
Is probably quite stressful. But cardiovascular health next to digestive health is probably the thing I would think that is, again, the next most urgent thing people need to know about. They have no idea. No one understands cardiac physiology. No one understands heart rate variability. And if the heart and the muscles in the heart are under more stress, over time that weakens the heart muscle, and it's no wonder why we're seeing what we see in this industry.
Yeah, we see a ton of massive inflammation in these people. We see a ton of digestive issues. We see a ton of like ulcerative colitis, right? Yeah. Is a common one. Rhabdo.
Which is
rhabdomyolysis.
Kidney degeneration, excessively extreme protein breakdown. The kidneys can't
inability
filter out.
to remove toxins. It's too much muscle damage leads to toxicity. The kidneys fail. You can die, right? These guys are getting rhabdo. It's like, yeah. So their system is not. It can't handle the performance they're trying to put on their body. It can if you do it right.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that part. They're just trying to get all this performance out of no maintenance.
Yeah.
In their body.
And what about things like joint inflammation and connective tissue injuries and soft tissue injuries? Torn pecs.
Well, it's massive because now we're talking about, endocrine function and tissues, right? So it's like these guys are taking super physiologic amounts of hormones. We know it's not a mystery, right? And by the way, it's in all sports. So
you're not going to get around it.
But if you take anabolic steroids, your muscles repair and get stronger much quicker than your musculotendinous junction and your tendon. So if you keep if the only variable in your training regime is heavier, you're able to do it to a certain point until your muscles get so strong that they outgrow or out-recuperate your tendon and the tendons rupture. And that's what happens, right? So now the peptide world, and that's a tangent, but the peptide world has helped, people understand like the TB500 BPC complexes. There's a whole bunch of peptides now that a lot of bodybuilders are taking to help with tissue recovery, but that's very recent, even though they've been around for over 15 years. But it's just becoming new in bodybuilding. But you're right, is these people are training with very heavy loads all the time, high inflammation, tendons and connective tissues aren't recovering as fast as muscle, and so you're rupturing pecs, quadriceps tendons, bicep tendons popping off, tricep tendons,
all the tendons.
And so again, they're trying to just override all this stuff, and the body. I always tell, my favorite statement is the body will always win. The body always wins. It will win, meaning you either push it to the point where it will force you to stop because it breaks, right? Or illness will set in and you have to stop, right? So you can't override that. You're going to lose if you mistreat the body. It'll win in that sense, right? So there's nothing more important than taking care of all these foundational components. Body, the lifespan, okay, but it's in all sports. Like the average life expectancy of a professional marathon runner is 50. That's a professional racer, right? Marathon racer.
And they're not big muscular people. They're skinny.
Same problems though.
Yeah. Cardiovascular stress, inflammation.
Huge amounts of stress on their heart.
Yep.
Very high depletion of minerals and electrolytes in those people. Cardiac tissue gets all messed up, right? They get like ectopic pacemaker stuff going on, AFib, all that stuff. The professional Ironman triathlete racer average life expectancy is 40 years old.
That low?
Yeah.
Wow.
So why? Because they're running a marathon, right? Riding 100 miles, swimming 2 miles. They're training for that every day of their life without stop. So my whole point is any sport to the highest level creates massive risk of death. Some more than others, but bodybuilding is pretty high up there. Yeah, if you're not working with a physician, getting everything checked, getting your markers checked, working with people like yourself, systemically checking everything, and then also knowing what to take and eat to mitigate all that stuff.
So why don't we kind of round out that as a segue to kind of some strategies? Because I always like to have practical takeaways.
Yeah,
it's nice to talk about the theory and talk about the problem. But most people have to focus on the solution. I mean, you have 30 years of wisdom. I'd love to know your practical takeaways, kind of like high-level overview, maybe mention them, and then we'll probably be able to do this as a deeper dive in the future. So let's get into that.
Yeah, okay, so let me know what do you want to address first?
Well, let's look at some dietary strategies.
Yeah.
Let's look at some lifestyle, rest and recovery strategies.
Okay.
Let's look at some supplemental strategies, and then anything else that you think might be pertinent or very important to hit on.
I think one of the biggest dietary strategies that's missed, period, is fiber intake.
Interesting.
There is a direct correlation with colon cancer and a lack of fiber intake. It's not a question. Like you can directly correlate. Now there's causation and correlation, right?
Yeah.
Because what causes something? I mean, there's a myriad of things, but we know if someone does not have 25 grams of fiber a day, then their chances of colon cancer go way up.
It's a pretty strong correlation.
Yeah. So that's a huge one. But foundational, so, okay, dietary. Well, okay. I think it's very important for people to not do extreme things. Every macronutrient has a function in our body. I don't agree with, now, this is not talking medical stuff, because like the ketogenic diet was originally created from the Mayo Clinic.
It's an anti-epileptic solution. That was the original purpose of it.
Yeah. So it's a medical condition, right? They also used it for people that were too obese to have surgery, and they could not, they had to weigh a certain amount for surgery.
Yeah.
They were going to die. The only way to get massive amounts of weight off these people to qualify for surgery was to do like a ketogenic diet with no carbs, right? Because you lose a lot of water, glycogen, and you lose fat, you decrease calories. But my point is, that's not for somebody who's healthy and functioning and exercising. So balanced nutrition is critical. You need fruits and vegetables. You need complex carbs, healthy carbs. Sugar does not make you fat. Everything you eat in a sweet potato converts to glucose.
So people forget, like I've said this over and over, all carbs become glucose in terms of the currency of the body. It's just, what did they start as?
Yeah, and it's
long chain polymers, or they start as simple sugars. That's where it becomes a different conversation.
And you can even build a case for simple sugars. Like raw honey is one of the best things you could ever eat, right?
I grew up in Canada. Maple syrup.
Right. Real, organic,
It's full of nutrition beyond just the sugar. So your body knows what to do with it.
And like fruit versus a Pop-Tart. Okay, well, that's the problem with food labeling too. If you put a food label, according to the way the FDA works, on an apple, it's going to say it has all these sugars. Or on a sweet potato, sugar, a whole bunch of sugars. People are like, oh, sugar's bad for you. And it's like, no, that's what your brain, nervous system, and your muscles function on. But with fruit, you have fiber, you have a whole bunch of nutrients, and then you have a certain amounts of sugar, right? Crystalline fructose, which is in fruit, but it's a different chain, right? It's a long chain polymer. It's not, and it actually stabilizes blood sugar. So that's very different than me pounding candy, right? Eating candy, which is more processed, but there is a case for even having really simple refined sugars, like if somebody needs, glucose during a workout.
And that's an extenuating circumstance when you're pushing for performance, and then you have to start making some concessions.
Yeah, but generally people should be eating a balance of healthy proteins. And again, I don't care if you don't like fish, don't eat fish, right? If people, honestly, if anyone does any research on regenerative beef, it's one of the healthiest things you can eat, right? It's very different than other kinds of beef you get at grocery stores. But, whole organic eggs, again, the proper Greek yogurt is a great protein source. But you need about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you are trying to add muscle mass to your body.
An appreciable amount.
Yeah. 1 gram per pound, or and there's even studies that even showed a linear increase in muscle mass as people went above that, right? So we know protein doesn't damage your kidneys like they used to think. But complex, healthy carbohydrates, I say if it comes from the ground, you should eat it, right? Those fruits, sweet potatoes, jasmine rice, these things, Ezekiel bread, sourdough bread, these are all great things. And then healthy fats, obviously, like if you can get the very best, extra virgin olive oil with really high polyphenol content, that's very good for you. I put that on all my food. I use that. That's like what I put on my food.
I use it some of my skin, my hair,
avocados, healthy fats. But you also need some saturated fats, like eggs provide healthy saturated fats for your body too. So if people can eat, and it's going to be very hard to overeat calories when you eat those types of foods. Why? Because there's a satiety factor.
Yes.
It satiates you, right? You're not hungry all the time. What people also don't understand is hunger is a physiological need. Appetite is a desire. Now, that's important because I have an appetite for Reese's peanut butter cups, right? I don't have a necessary physiological need for them, right? But here's the thing though, okay? When kids eat food that's void of nutrients, so Coke, candy, chips, Takis, whatever, they're ingesting a lot of calories, but they're not taking in nutrients. So what the body says is, hey, nice try, buddy. And that's why they're still hungry. It's like, that's a physiological need for nutrients. So they're eating massive amounts of calories with no nutrients. That's why they're obese and unhealthy and not satiated. When you flip that and you eat high nutrient dense foods with fiber, right? And the satiating component of protein and fats. Carbs satiate very well too. When your glycogen stores are full, you're satiated, right? So
especially with fiber.
Yes. So
cool.
So anyway, that's how I would address someone's nutrition. The last component I would be is enough hydration.
Yeah.
Right. People are just way too dehydrated. They don't drink enough water. And then the electrolyte thing that's gone a little crazy with all these electrolyte drinks.
Everyone's
and stuff.
putting them in everything. All my athletes are obsessed with Element or what used to be BioSteel, and it's like, if you're losing a lot of sodium via sweat and exercise, I could see the reason. But if you're just putting it in water to flavor it, or you think that you need to electrolyte enhance massively,
some people are taking in too much sodium.
It's a little too much. But I mean, the nutritional science stuff is super nuanced. I think that's a great high-level overview.
Yeah.
Let's round out with some lifestyle and some supplemental stuff.
Okay. So lifestyle, I would say, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this too, but I don't think anything beats sleep.
Sleep is king.
So you have to have two components. Dr. Huberman does some great stuff on it, right? I don't know that everybody has the time or the ability to get 15 minutes of sunlight every morning when they wake up and all that stuff. Do the best you can with that, mm-hmm. but go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time. And do you need 8 hours? Everyone's different, but your quality of sleep is critical. Mm-hmm. So just start by having a sleep schedule that's as consistent as possible, that you try to keep as consistent as possible, and give yourself preferably 8 hours. Some people need more, but some people function off 6. But go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time. If you need to take a power nap, do it. Get as much sleep as possible. Don't feel guilty for sleeping. That's probably my best lifestyle hack. The other one is, look, we all know there is no amount of alcohol that is healthy.
No,
and I'm not saying people can't drink, but you just have to understand, if you want to know what an anti-fitness compound is, it's alcohol. Mm-hmm. It does everything opposite that fitness is supposed to do.
It's a great way.
These 6 types of cancers are related to it. Yes, but it decreases muscle protein synthesis.
Increases estrogen conversion in men.
Yes, it increases cortisol, increases heart rate, increases blood pressure, right? It destroys digestive health. It destroys your gut microbiome and your digestive enzymes. Does that mean people can't enjoy a drink now and then? No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying drink as little as possible, mm-hmm. right? That's just a thing you have to cut out of your life if you want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's the stress component. Cortisol is a huge problem. I think it's related to so many things, but I try to get people to, even if it's 11 minutes a day, do a gratitude exercise or a Wim Hof breathing or mm-hmm. something. Meditation, people, I think they confuse it. They think they have to sit like a monk in the hum and go into Zen or whatever. It's just a way to decompress. And gratitude is my favorite thing. Mm-hmm. Think about everything I'm grateful for on the most detailed level. For me, it works very well. It reduces stress. It helps you relax. It helps you decompress. But the ability to remove stress from your life, and the ability to have self-talk, that your words create your environment. So if people say I'm always tired, I'm tired, I'm old, I hear that all the time. I'm old though. Yeah, but I'm old. I'm I'm 15 years older than you, man.
Stop manifesting your reality in your mind.
Don't say I'm tired. Don't say I'm broke. Don't say I'm unhappy. Right? That you create that. Your mind doesn't know the difference. So those practices in life, I think, create way more health than people understand. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it. Mm-hmm. Your world, you know so well. Your body will do what you think. Mm-hmm. Right? The placebo effect is so real, but it's not really placebo.
No.
This is consciousness.
Of projections of reality, right?
So
I think, therefore I am kind of thing.
It's real.
It is
100% real. So, and any other lifestyle things, I would say, don't doom scroll.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't be a dopamine addict.
Yeah. Get dopamine from doing work.
Real work.
Yes.
Proper feedback mechanism.
Yes.
And it's so easy to doom scroll, or just to give yourself this time to disconnect from being present and just occupy your awareness of just, I'm watching what the world's doing.
And spend 15 minutes a day in the outside.
Yeah. We talk about grounding, talk about circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm really excited about, because you and I are going to kind of personally undertake bringing health into the world of bodybuilding and sports via teaching them about health and supplements. What would you have to say about suggestions for people who are exercising to keep their digestive wellness in check, supplementally speaking, just to round everything out?
Is that you have to have a proper probiotic that actually gets to where it's supposed to go and does what it's supposed to do. 99% of them don't. And you can't overtake them either, right? You can't take too many probiotics. So, but foundationally, a probiotic that is actually, like the...
efficacious.
Right, but like the company we're talking about.
Yes, yeah,
right?
U.S. Enzymes Master Supplements. I mean, the one thing that we pride ourselves in is we have a patent that no one else holds.
Correct.
And it's infallible in terms of its outcome.
Yes, so your gut microbiome is key. So proper digestive enzymes, proper enzymes, period.
Yes.
Proper probiotic. And then those are foundational. Proper healthy fats. Like, we have to supplement them. We don't get them enough. And then, if you want a proper whole food multivitamin.
Interesting.
Yeah, when the nutrients are from whole food. For example, you can get vitamin D from mushrooms, or you can get it. Yeah, but you can get it synthetically, right? There's very good vitamin D3 and K supplements though. But if you try to get, like, you can get vitamin C from cherries, acerola cherries, right? And there's products that are made that way.
Rather than fermented yeast extract with ascorbic acid.
Yeah. So, I'll give you an example. If you see on a food label it says calcium ascorbate or ascorbic acid, well, there's 7 other components to vitamin C in an orange that make vitamin C.
Yeah.
Like, you can't improve on God, right? Or that's how it's made. It's made that way for a reason, so you can utilize it. So to get your multivitamin from a whole food source, there's companies that make them, right? And then, look, now we know for neurological function, creatine monohydrate is massive. It's now become an essential nutrient, which people used to think it was a steroid. Right?
Yeah, I used to get in trouble in high school. My parents found the creatine you're taking. I'm like, I'm taking steroids.
I owned a supplement store. I owned 3 of them, and I had a woman come in furious with me, telling me she wanted her money back because her son bought creatine and he was roid raging at home from his creatine. And so and so now everyone's like, no, everybody needs to take creatine. It helps type 3 diabetes, which is what we call dementia.
Neurological diabetes.
Right. So those would be, if someone said, what are the foundational ones? That nattokinase is massive.
Nattokinase, cardiovascular, especially for the aging athlete, which we can dig into another time. But Justin, you're a wealth of knowledge. It just comes out of you so effortlessly. And I usually do these on Zoom. So doing it in person, there's a different feel, man. It's such a nice flow of conversation back and forth.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom. And I'm excited for the content that you and I are going to make, because I know we're going to make waves in this industry, in this world, because these people need help. And I'm glad you're on the front line, man.
I appreciate you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for your time again.
We'll
talk to you soon. And thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please do follow us on all outlets, like and subscribe to all aspects of social media, and we will be bringing you great content coming very soon in the future. All the best, everyone. Bye now.